The DJI Mimo app is the app that DJI provides us with for our smartphones. We can edit our videos from, for example, the Osmo 360 on the go. And today we're going to go through how you do the basic edits in this app, because some things are tricky and some things actually doesn't even work if you don't do a specific walk around. But we're going to go through all of that in this guide. And if you would like to know how to maneuver your camera from the DJI Mimo app, I've covered that in a separate video that I have linked in the description and in the pinned comment. This video is going to be all about how we use the next icon, that is how to edit in a DJI Mimo app. But to be able to edit the video, we need to bring in and download the video from the DJI Osmo 360 into the DJI Mimo app. And to be able to do that, we're going to tap the middle icon so we can connect to the camera. So we do that and then tap connect. And then it's going to request to be able to connect over Wi-Fi instead, so we're going to do that. And now we are connected to the camera. What we're going to see here is that we are first coming into the album, and this is where we're going to see everything that is stored on this camera. And here we can also see that we have a little icon up here that is download icon. And if we tap that icon, the video is going to be downloaded and stored into the Photos app of my iPhone. And we can try that. So for example, if you start recording here, you're going to just do a short recording. That is just a video. We're going to stop that. And then we can see that if we go into the album again, and we're going to just wait, and here that video shows up. If I now go into my Photos app, I can see that it doesn't show up here. But if I go in here and then I tap download on that video, it's going to download that full resolution video. If I now go back into the Photos app, I can see that it shows up here. And this is a critical step to be able to do one thing in the editing part. And I'm going to go into that later. But remember how you do this. So now we can go back to the DJI Mimo app again. We can now see that we do not have that icon here anymore. That means that the video is downloaded already. So now let's go into the editor that we have at the bottom right here. We can take new project. And here we can also access that video that is down here. And we can also see, if we go back, we can also do one tap edit. If we tap one tap edit, that is basically going to make the video for you. You tap this one. Then after that, you're going to get a list of all the videos you have. So for example, that one, and that one. And we take next. And the app is now going to generate this video for you. And you can select different kind of templates. So you can have the vibe and feeling and the music that you would like to have. It's just going to take a couple of seconds. And now the video is done. And now it has added the music to it as well. And I can change the vibe down here. For example, if I would like to have like power skiing instead, it's just going to take a couple of seconds. And then it has regenerated with a power skiing theme. And we have these texts here also. We can actually edit this one here if we just tap edit. And then we can do basic things like different crops, but we can also tap edit more. And if we tap edit more, we're going to come into the standard editor of the DJI Mimo app. And here we can do all the kind of edits we would like to do. For example, if we would like to remove the music, we can tap the music and we can just delete the music from here. And if we would like to edit the text that we had on it, let's go to the beginning, because here we have text. Then we can just tap the text and we're going to get all the text features here as well. Let's take save and exit. And now when we took save and exit, we're going to actually access that edit up here in draft. So we can tap that one. And here we have all the edits we have started before. So we can just go back into it here again. We can rename them if you would like to. And I can just tap that one. And now we are back into the edit of that video again. So let's go back, save and exit. Let's go back again. And then we can go to the edit and then new project as we started to do before. And here we have certain things. So here we can see that we access Osmo 360 because that is the camera that we are connected to at the top right here. If I take the left one here, now I access everything that is on my phone instead. So that is an important difference. So let's go back to Osmo 360. Now we can see the video I have here that we just downloaded. If I tap recent up here, you can see that it's also available down here. And this is the way I usually do this, because that is going to avoid these problems that I mentioned before. So now when we are here, we can also tap this little icon with the two arrows. When we tap that one, we're going to get it in full screen so we can see what it's actually about. And then if we go back, the icon at the very bottom here, that indicates what kind of video it is. For example, this one is a horizontal one, and that is a vertical one. If we go to Osmo 360 again, here we can see that this is just a standard video because it has a video icon. If we scroll up here, you can see that this one, that is 360 because it has a different kind of icon. So now let's take this video that we started with before, and let's take also, say, that one. Those two I would like to edit. We get them down here. I can rearrange them by tapping and just replacing them here so we can get them in the order we want to if we don't want to do that job inside the editor. Let's take next. And now when we are in the editor, we have different things that we need to be aware of. Let's start from the top here. That button, that takes us, of course, back to where we were before. So now we can go back again by tapping next. And up here we select what kind of format we would like to have on the video. If it's going to be the default format, that means that it's going to take the aspect ratio of the video the way we filmed it. We can also do 16:9. This was a 16:9, so it's not going to change anything. We can also have 4:3. We can have 1:1. And now you say, oh, Mats, we don't see any difference. No, that is because we have another icon that is right here. The way it's tapped right now, that means that we're going to see the video the way it was filmed. If I tap that one again, now it's going to adapt it to whatever we have selected up here. So if we take that one instead, or that one instead. And here we can see that we can move around inside this box, resize it, we can twist it and turn it the way we want. We always have to close that one first to be able to access the edit. The next thing we have, that is the resolution for the export. And the interesting thing is that even though we film in 5K in the camera, for example, that we can do in single lens mode. If you would like to know everything about the camera itself, I have linked to the beginner's guide for the DJI Osmo 360 also, so you can take a look at that one also. But the camera supports to film up to 5K in single lens mode. We can take a look at that here. So for example, if we go back to the viewer, and then we can see that we're down here. Here we are in video mode, and here when we tap here we can see that we can film up to 5K. The thing is that the export doesn't support more than 4K. So this is very interesting. And we can also see here that we can select what kind of timeline we would like to have. If we would like to have a 30 FPS timeline or a 60 FPS timeline. I usually do 30. If it's not pure action sport and I would like to have more frames, then I take 60 FPS instead. This also means that if you have filmed in 60 frames per second, then you could actually slow it down 50% to get it to work on a 30 FPS timeline. And if you have filmed in 120 frames per second and you use a 30 FPS timeline, that means that you can slow it down to 25%. And when you do that, you will still have enough frames because 120 divided by 4 is 30. So then you will have enough frames to cover all those 30 frames per second. So the video is going to look great without this stuttering and chops and things that you see if you slow down a video that is not adapted to be slowed down. And then you can also just tap export, and then it's going to be exported. So if we tap export, it's going to take a couple of seconds. And then we're gonna have the export into the camera roll of the camera. And here we can also share it to Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or Skype Pixel, or we can tap more to get these options here. And now when we are done, we can just tap done. And now we are back to where we were before. And now this exported video will show up here as well. So here we just got this 7-second video in the aspect ratio we had, and because we didn't fill the frame, we have this black bar at the bottom and the top. So let's go back into the editor again. We can go to draft. We can go to this one that we just had before that we didn't finish. Let's enlarge this one a little bit. The next thing is what we have here. This is the timeline itself. So these are the clips. We have a title that we can add there. We have this clip and we have the next clip. Between the two clips, we can add a transition, because now it's just a now it's just a hard cut between that clip and that clip. To add a transition, we just tap the transition. We can select what kind of transition we would like to have. We have the basic ones like just slide to the left, slide to the right. We have camera transitions like a roll or yeah, whatever. There are so many built-in transitions. which make me maybe think that this is one of the best editor for editing videos on your smartphone. It's really, really good. We can do masking clips. For example, we can have a brush, so it looks like we're brushing it in. We can have, here is a really cool one that is called, where do we have it? Let's see, okay, so yeah, as you can see here, if we scroll far, it's just gonna switch between the different kind of effects we have, but I just find that work 100% well. It's a little bit laggy, so if I scroll fast, it doesn't really know what kind of title or what kind of section I'm in. So this is really cool, this ink one. So if we take this one, it's like it's painting in the next clip, which is really cool. And here we can also select the duration of the transition itself. And when we have found a transition that we like, then we just tap the check mark here, or we can take apply to all. When you select apply to all, this transition or whatever kind of edit we do will be adapted to all of the clips that you have in timelines. So if we would like to use this transition for every kind of clip or between every kind of clip we have instead of the hard cut, then we just select apply to all, and we have applied that transition to all of the clips. So now when we play this one,
that is just
we can see that we have that fancy transition between those clips. The next thing we can do that is to add an ending to the video, and DJI has provided us with really fancy endings. So for example, if I'm making a dedicated video about the DJI Osmo, DJI, they have provided us with a suitable ending for DJI Osmo. It's of course from their own commercial or advertisement. So if we go in here, we can select that we have the DJI Osmo. We can have a DJI Osmo ending, or we can have any other kind of ending that they have already provided us. And if I take check mark on that one, we're gonna get these here. So after the video
clip,
you're gonna get that kind of ending to the video, which is pretty cool. Next thing we can do, we can go to the add title.
We're gonna just do a short recording.
And here we can add, for example, let's take that one, my vlog. We can add that here.
We're gonna just do
so now we have got that one here. Now we can see that we don't have those transitions here. If I go in, tap that transition, I can now tap apply to all clips. And now we can see that we got that transition to all my clips.
Just do a short recording that is just 120 FPS video clip,
which is pretty cool. Next thing is that we can adjust certain things about each clip that we have added to the timeline. And here we can see that this one has full color. This one looks a little bit pale. That's because this one has been filmed in standard mode and this one has been filmed in D-Log M. And we can add the LUTs directly in the app here. So to do that, we just tap that clip, so it's selected. Then we go down to filter. And in filter, we're gonna scroll to the side. Here we have color recovery. And here we have what kind of camera we have. That's Osmo 360, and we have the D-Log M profile, and we can apply that. And now we can see that we brought back all that beautiful color into that video. And that is how easy you apply the D-Log M LUT in the DJI Mimo app. So that is super handy, it's so great. Next thing we can do here, that is that we can do the edits here. So for example, if I would like to cut this clip here, I have cut here. Then it's divided into two. If I would like to undo that, I can do that here. Now they are merged back together again. I can adjust the volume of this one. For example,
video clip.
We would like to have it a little bit louder.
This is 120 FPS.
Or we maybe don't want to have any audio at all. Then we can adjust that here. The next thing is to retime the video. And that is basically to slow it down or speed it up. And that is for the speed button. And if we could tap that one, we can see that we can change all the way from 0.25 up to 8 times. The problem with slowing down the clip in the DJI Mimo app is that the DJI Mimo app don't understand when you have imported, for example, 120 frames per second video from the DJI Osmo app. There is some bug in this. I've reported this to DJI. At first they didn't understand it because the thing is that the container that the file is saved under, when you import that file, for example, into a computer, it's automatically gonna be interpreted to be a 30 FPS video. The same as if you film a slow motion video on your phone. And then it will automatically be slowed down when you play it up. So when I send the sample video to DJI and say, hey, this doesn't work, they say, hey, yeah, but it says in the video that it's a 30 FPS video. Yes, because it's already slowed down, you have to take a look at the video. But if I take a look at the video here in the iPhone, I can see that it's 120 frames per second video. But the thing is that the DJI Mimo app don't understand that it's 120 frames per second video, because it's interpreting the video to be 30 frames per second without slowing it down. So the only way to slow down a video that is filmed in, for example, 120 frames per second is to first import the video to the camera app. Then after that, you're going to import the video from the camera roll into the DJI Mimo app. Then it's slowed down the way it's supposed to be. But if you import the video from the DJI Osmo into the DJI Mimo app, then you won't be able to slow it down. Then it will be considered to be a 30 frames per second. So when you slow that down to 25%, you're gonna get this choppy, because it's only gonna be 7.5 frames per second, as if you divide 30 frames per second by 4 equal 25%. But if you first import that video to the Photos app of the phone and then import it from there, it's going to be considered as a 120 frames per second video. So hopefully that will be resolved in a future update of the DJI Mimo app. So let's go back to how we actually retime things or speed things up or down here. So here, for example, here we can slow down and speed up the clip. That is going to be applied to the entire clip. If you just would like to speed up or slow down parts of the clip, you tap the variable speed button here. That gives us the option to speed up here and slow down here. You can also move these little dots around. So if you don't want to speed up there, you can move it to the right, for example. If you would like to have another marker, you can drag the player here, you add a marker, and then you can slow it down there and speed it up here. The problem is though that you can't really reset it to the center. Usually you can double tap markers like this, and it's going to go back to the default setting. That doesn't work here. And if I take reset here, it's going to reset all of the points. So it's kind of hard to get it back to the middle if I don't want to speed it up or slow it down anymore, because it's really hard. I can't set any direct numbers. I can't set it to 1x here. And as I said, I can't double tap it to go back to the center. And if I take reset, you can imagine that if I have one selected and I tap reset, it's going to reset only that marker. If I have nothing selected, it's going to reset all of them. But as you can see here, if I select that one and take reset, it's going to reset all of the markers, which is really super freaking annoying. So hopefully that will be resolved in a future update as well. So this is basically everything for the speed up and slow down feature. We also have custom here, so you can set, for example, that you would like to have a montage. So I would like to have that one. You're gonna have a bullet time here. You do like this, and then you're gonna slow down just there. You can have another. It's gonna jump up. It's gonna speed there. So yup, and then down again. So that's basically what you do here. You can set it manually or use one of those preset templates for speed up and slow down. But again, I really miss that you can't reset one single point. Then we can apply it to all clips, only to this clip, or tap out. Next thing we have, that is to delete this clip. That's pretty self-explanatory. So if you're gonna scroll like this, you deselect the clip you had. So the next one is red. If we go to this one, if I would like to change the duration of it, just tap it, and then I can drag these handles on the side here. I can zoom in to the timeline by dragging like this, or I can zoom out by dragging like this. We can also add more clips, of course, by tapping the plus icon. Then we're going to access the videos that we have on the DJI Osmo 360 or in the camera roll. So we can add another clip. I would like to add that one. Tap, then it's added at the end. It's not going to replace the very end, because this end clip that we added from the app itself, that one can't be moved. That's just here. If I would like to remove it, I can do so, and then the clip is going to end with the last clip I have instead. I can also reverse clips, but that doesn't work for all the clips. I haven't really found the exact specification for when the reverse clip work or doesn't work, but if I tap that clip here and take reverse, it just says reversing videos not supported. If I take this one, reverse video is not supported. I've actually not found one single clip that is actually supported to be reversed. So I don't know if that is a future feature they're gonna come out with. So the top row here, those are the edit features you get from the one you have selected at the very bottom. So if I have edit, I get all my edit tools here, if I take music, I'm gonna change to music tools. And if I tap, for example, filters, I'm gonna get the entire filter menu here instead. And if we go all the way to the end, here we have Aqua. So this is where I would suggest you to go if you have filmed something underwater, and use this one to see how it affects the footage you have to make it look as good as possible, or the way you want it to look. Let's go back and then we can take a look at effects. These ones are actually pretty cool. If we go to add effect, and then we can take a look at, we would like to have, for example, falling leaves in the fall. And then we would like to have that where we have the trees. So let's tap and hold. We're gonna move that to here. And now when we are playing this, we're gonna get falling leaves where we added that. And there are so many different effects. You can add snow, you can have leaves. There are so many different things you can add. It's just incredible how much they have added. But some basic things they haven't got right. The next thing is, of course, to add text, and that is the text tool we have at the bottom here. We can add a text by just tapping this one. We can tap that we're gonna have a text that is here. We can have the font, we can change that. We can have a style. That is, I would like to have that one. We can have different effects. I like that one. Let's do that. Oops. Then that's gonna come out like that. You can have different kind of animations. So it's just gonna do like this. So if we play this one now, let's move that a little bit. So it's here. And to edit that text, you just go here, you tap it, and then you can have edit. And then you can add it to text, and you can tap down here to edit the styles. We can see where do we want to have it. You can just move it instantly to those positions as well. You can resize it here, we can spin it around. So you have so many possibilities to do this here in this DJI Mimo app. It's just incredible. And we can also add stickers. So if we tap the stickers one, we're gonna load the stickers library, and this is pretty cool. Here you have the favorites. It's under hot. Of course, they have their own here, the DJI Osmo 360. But if we tap that one, we get that one here on the screen, so we can add that sticker here. Something that is really cool, that is if we go to movie quote, and then we can have, for example, the 8K ultra high. I don't know why they want to call this movie quote, but that's what it is. So now we can have that here. Oh, this is really cool. It's in 8K ultra HD. So you can make some more advertisement for DJI. We can change this one, replace, so we can find something else instead. And then we get all of these. There are not millions, but there are so many different things you can add in this app. And now when we are done with this edit, we can just take export, and then we're just gonna export the video. And as I said, we can maximum export in 4K, which is a little bit weird, but that's just how it is. And here we can now play this video, and it looks awesome. We have all these things that we added from the beginning. So now when we have exported this video, then we can see each other in that video up here, because that is the DJI Osmo 360 playlist. And at the bottom here, that is the video showing you how to maneuver the camera from the DJI Mimo app. Thank you so much for watching. Consider a super thanks, or buy me a cup of coffee. That's highly appreciated. Have a good one. Bye.